Hey guys, in this video we're going to be talking about graphing quadratics. We're going to do this by hand, so without technology. Later on we will learn how to do the same thing with Desmos. This is a two-part video. This part is going to focus only on graphing quadratics from factored form. In the second part of the video, or the second video that I will make, we will cover graphing quadratics from standard form. So to be able to graph a quadratic without technology, you first have to understand how to graph, or how to find rather, the vertex from factored form. All right, so here are the steps that you need to follow. First, you have to find the roots of the function. All right, so if I'm looking here, we have the function f of x equals x plus 1 times x plus 5. So essentially when you're finding the roots, remember that means that you are trying to find the place where the graph touches the x-axis, which means that you need this equation to have a value of 0 for f of x or for y, for lack of a better way to explain that. So what that means is either this parentheses or this parentheses has to be equal to 0 so that when you multiply them together, you get 0. Okay? And the way that that works is by taking each set of parentheses and setting it equal to 0 and solving. So let's do that down here at the bottom of the page. So we have x plus 1 equals 0, and we have x plus 5 equals 0. And these are both only one-step equations. I'm going to subtract 1 over here to get x equals negative 1, and subtract 5 here to get x equals negative 5. So the two solutions for this function are negative 1 and negative 5. Then what you want to do is you want to find the average of those roots. That will give you the x value of your vertex. Now, it's probably been a little while since you've done average, but all that means is you take the two numbers, you add them together, and then you divide by 2 in this case because there are two numbers that are being added together. So it's negative 1 plus negative 5 divided by 2. Negative 1 plus negative 5 is negative 6. And when I divide that by 2, I get negative 3. So that is the x value of my vertex. Okay, then the next thing you need to do is find the y value of your vertex. And it's pretty simple. All you gotta do is take the negative 3, plug it in for x, and see what you get for y. So let's do that down here. So it's y equals, we can use y instead of f of x. Negative 3 is my x value, so negative 3 plus 1 in the first set of parentheses and negative 3 plus 5 in the second set. And you can go ahead and just use your calculator here if you want to. I'll do it by hand. Y equals negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2, and negative 3 plus 5 is positive 2. There's a nice little safety net when it comes to factored form. If you found the correct x value for your vertex, the two numbers you get in the parentheses here will always be opposites of one another. All right, and then finally, this is multiplication. So negative 2 times 2 is negative 4, which means that the y value of your vertex is negative 4. And then the final thing you need to do is take those two numbers you just got and write them as an ordered pair, because remember, your vertex is an ordered pair. So it's negative 3, negative 4. From there, let's take a look at what you need to do to actually graph the function. Okay, so this is the same function we just had. We found the vertex, which in this case was negative 3, negative 4. And then when you come down to the graph, all you need to do is plot the vertex and your roots. Now, if you remember, the roots were negative 1 and negative 5. So for this type of graph, you only have to have 3 points. So I'm going to plot those three things. First, the vertex was negative 3, negative 4. So negative 1, 2, 3, negative 1, 2, 3, 4 is right here. And then my roots were at negative 1 and negative 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you got to connect it with a curve. Remember, a quadratic is U-shaped. So it should not look like a V, it should be a U. That's it. That's the graph of that function. So let's try the same thing with 3 more functions. All right. So the first one we have is f of x equals negative 1, or x minus 1, sorry, times x minus 3. So the first thing we need to do is find our roots. So let's do that down here. So we have x minus 1 is 0, and x minus 3 is 0. I'm going to add 1 to both sides to get x is 1. Add 3 to both sides to get x is 3. And I'm actually going to go ahead and plot these on the graph right now. So here's x is 1, and here's x is 3. All right. Now let's find the x value of our vertex. So x is equal to 1 plus 3 divided by 2. 1 plus 3 is 4. Divided by 2 is 2. So then I'm going to plug that back in. So y is 2 minus 1 times 2 minus 3. And this time I'll go ahead and just use the calculator, or I can do it in my head here. 2 minus 1 is 1. 2 minus 3 is negative 1, which means y is negative 1. So 2, negative 1 is my vertex. I'm going to plot that and then connect my curve. And there it is. All right, let's try the next one. Next one is negative 1/3 times x plus 1 times x minus 5. So that is going to change how you find the y value at the end, but it doesn't change finding the roots or finding the x value of your vertex. So let's start with that. So it's x plus 1 equals 0 and x minus 5 equals 0. Subtract 1 here to get x is negative 1. Add 5 here to get x is 5. Okay, so let's plot negative 1 and positive 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now let's find the x value of our vertex. So it's still negative 1 plus 5 divided by 2. Negative 1 plus 5 is 4, divided by 2 is 2. So the x value of my vertex is 2. Now, when you go to plug this into the function, you have to remember there's that negative 1/3 out in front. That also must be multiplied as part of the equation. So I'm actually going to type this one straight into my calculator just to make sure I don't make any mistakes. So I'm going to type it in exactly as it is. It's negative 1/3 parentheses 2 plus 1, 2 minus 3, and I get 1. So that means the y value of my vertex is 1. So my vertex is 2, 1. So we're going to go 1, 2, positive 1. It's a very odd looking graph here, but there it is. And it should be wider than normal because it has that fraction out in front. If you had a whole number out in front, it would be skinnier. All right, last one here. We have x plus 2 times x minus 4. So same steps. X plus 2 is 0 and x minus 4 is 0. Subtract 2 here. You get x is negative 2. Add 4 here, you get x is 4. Okay, to find the x value of your vertex, it's negative 2 plus 4 divided by 2. Negative 2 plus 4 is 2, divided by 2 is 1. Okay, then the y value is going to be 1 plus 2 in parentheses times 1 minus 4 in parentheses. Okay, 1 plus 2 is 3, 1 minus 4 is negative 3, and then 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. So that means my vertex is 1, negative 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's the vertex. And my roots were negative 2 and positive 4. So here's negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So my quadratic is right here. And that's it. That's how you graph quadratics from factored form.